Hey guys, how everybody doing today? This is Danny with I'm the owner of this channel, DMF Finance. Um wanted to talk about the stock market today. Well, not today, but everything read it today. But I wanted to talk about what is a stock, right? So a stock is a super small, basically a fraction. It is a fraction of a company. You buying a fraction of the company. What it's worth will be on the stock market exchange, how much it costs and everything, but it's a very small fragment of a company, and it has a supply. It shows the supply number of how many shares is on the market, right? So when you, sorry if I tend to look around a lot. So basically, the stock market, when you buying a share of the company, it can go up and down. It's volatile. It can go up and down. It's charts and everything. If you want to see how they go up and down, you can look up stock market charts. But this is just basic stuff I just want to talk about. It can go up and down. You can make money on it. There's different exchanges. It's a platform for what they call a generational wealth. And that's something I think so. It's a passive form of income, depending on how you look at it. Like if you're looking at it for the long term, you could buy at a good price, goes up in the long term, goes up in the short term, goes up in the long term. You can make money off of it. Taxes behind it, obviously, but basically, when you buy a stock, you buy a fraction of a company, just to get that out the way. So that being said, when you're buying a piece of the company, you are technically an owner, and you have to pay taxes on it. Taxes could be short term, which is about 20, 25, 30%, if I remember correctly. Somebody check me in the comments for that, please, if anything. Long term could be anywhere from 15 to 0. I know when I claim my taxes, when I claim my stocks on my taxes, I barely pay anything, even though I'm not making super much. A little about myself. I'm what's called a bargain investor or a long-term investor. I buy and hold mainly dividend-based stocks. So what your dividend is, a dividend for a stock is when you buy a company and the company has what's called a PE ratio and a yield, a dividend yield. So it'll pay you a percentage basically of like the price of the stock for holding it long term, and that's usually mostly what is it, quarterly? No, not quarter. Yeah, quarterly, every 3 months. Some pay you monthly, some pay you every 6 months. That's kind of rare. I don't have any that pay every 6 months, and then some pay you annualized returns, which account also pays you annualized returns depending on how long you held the stock and if it goes up or down, right? So as an average investor and as a boring investor and as a dividend investor, I personally just buy stocks, ones that pay anywhere from a 3% to a 7% return on the dividend, not the yield, on the dividend. Those are separate. On the analyzed return and the yield, the dividend yield is separate. They're different. You actually stack your dividends on top of your annualized returns. But basically, so when you buy a stock, a lot of the times you can look it up, or you can go to what I use. I use Dividend Tracker, and type in the ticker symbol, which is the symbol that is used for the stock to be found. You would use that, and you can go down and look at the dividend rate, the dividend rate, and it'll tell you how many cents you get paid. Like for instance, AT&T, right? I don't know the exact price of AT&T because I bought out, but there was a point in time where AT&T paid out 52 cents per share. Now that don't sound like a lot, and I could give you a rough estimate of the price. The price when I had it stayed between $28 and $32, so 52 cents a share was actually a great price, because I mean, how many things you buy and they give you a return for the long haul? Not many. Not unless you're talking about real estate, stocks, in any other form of finance like gold and just buy stuff like that, right? So AT&T paying 52 cents a share, right? That means if you had 10 shares, you was getting paid $5.20. And since the stock price stayed steady between $28 and $30, you was getting a fraction of that on top of whatever you was putting in. So a lot of people put in monthly, a lot of people don't put in at all. A lot of people put in one time and then leave that in. Let's talk about a little bit of what I do. I put in monthly. I mean, not monthly. I put in bi-weekly. I have 3 accounts. I have one with Webull, I have one with M1 Finance, and I have one with Fidelity. Now I have a few other accounts, but they're not really big accounts. Correction. My biggest account is my Fidelity account, right? So that's the main account where my money goes. That's where my dividend portfolio is at, and I also have a custodial account for my child. These 2. So that's where most of my money goes in that account. So roughly a month, if we go on monthly, I put $180 a month for mine, $20 in for him, and then I have a little Roth on there, which is another $20 I put in. So it sounds like a lot, but it's not. And then my other accounts I put $20, $30 in every 2 weeks as well. If not, if I have extra money, I put in more. Now it sounds like a lot, because when you total all that up, that's like $400 a month I'm putting into the market. Now you always put what you can put in there, what you can safely put in the market, which you're also willing to lose, because in the stock market, a stock could go to zero. It rarely happens that it goes down all the way down to zero, but it can happen. It can happen. So once again, a stock is a very small piece of a company that you could buy that you have ownership of, right? And you can pass it on. So God forbid if something was ever to happen to me, my son is my beneficiary for my account. He would get my entire portfolio, all my portfolios, because he's the beneficiary for all of them. Now, that's the good thing. So it's a way to pass on money to your child if you want something for them later on in life. And with his custodial account, he can't touch until he's 21, until I give him full access at 21. And I don't even plan to let him know about it anytime soon. Like I said, he's 2. So I'll probably let him know when he's like 18 and then have him give me a little bit of money to put in there. But I might just fully fund it myself, just to have something to leave for him, right? It's a bit... Tell me if I'm being a little, if I'm looking around too much or whatever. I like to keep my surroundings aware. I'm sorry. It's just something I do. Yeah. Also, so when you buy fractions of a company, like with the AT&T example, you buy 10 shares and it's $5.20. What it does is that $5.20 will drip. It's called a dividend reinvestment program, basically compounding what you already own. So it'll be a fraction. So what, $30 times 6 is, I said $30 times 6. 6 times 5 is 30. So you're buying a sixth of the company with your drip being put into play. We could talk about that more later in another video. With your drip being put into play, and then you can add more money into it to get more shares, to acquire more shares. A lot of people do dividend investing to eventually supplement their income with, you can say, large amounts of money in the account, and then taking a percentage of the return. I know most people I know that are retired or been in the stock market for a long time, they usually have roughly $500,000-$600,000, and they're taking a 4% return from that. And granted, the money's not always exactly enough for you to live off of, right? Now let me do some quick math for you real quick. Let's say if it was $600,000 and 4%. that's only $24,000 a year, right? But when you think about it, that's a lot of low income jobs is $24,000 after taxes. Like I said, your taxes is very low when you hold long term, and since you're a dividend investor, you will be holding long term until you die. I know I'm holding till I die, period, point blank. For me, that's it. Like, I plan to keep investing until I die. I plan to keep increasing how much I invest in there so that eventually my returns are more. Like I said, the market is red right now. I don't know if you heard me say it earlier, but I have a small account. It's not crazy. I just started investing more. In the beginning, I was more of a growth chaser, but I started to research passive income and then became more of a dividend investor and everything. I do a little options here and there on Webull, but that money is like, I take that money out and use for myself, which is not a good thing. I do not recommend that at all. I say I'm a lot, I'm sorry. But I do call it options. I will talk about in another video too. I'm decently versed in how to do call it options, but speaking it back to somebody and teaching it, I'm not really good at yet. So I'm working on it. I'm not even good with this, so I'm just working on that as well. I just wanted to make a YouTube video about how to what the stock market is and why people should invest. I really want everybody to invest in the market if it's for them, if they're willing to lose money. But a lot of times when you're a dividend investor or a long-term investor or an investor in general, and you do the right due diligence and research on what you want to buy, a lot of times it won't go down. Most of the time you'll make won't say most of the time, let me correct myself, it's a volatile market. A good portion of the time you can make a return. I've made decent returns. I've been investing for 25, so 3 years. 3 years, a little over 3 years. So my current platforms is Fidelity, that's my main account. My two secondary platforms is Webull and M1 Finance. Now M1 Finance, I'm gonna show you that in another video as well. Once I build it up a little bit more, I only got like $100 in there, and that's for, I'm doing the ETF spread, which is exchange traded fund spread. I'll talk about those more later too. I just want to talk about the different type of stocks too. So there's dividend stocks, which are regular stocks that just pay you out. Growth stocks, which are stocks that's going to grow for the long term. Usually they're in some type of utility department, something that we need, like waste management, wholesaling and food, communications, stuff like that, etc. Then you have, what's that other one? It's gonna take me a second. I'm sorry, I can't remember at the moment. I apologize. So I just had it on the tip of my tongue. If I remember, I'll definitely put it into the next video. Correction, when I remember, I'll put it in the next video. For somebody that want to start small, I recommend and exchange traded funds. There we go. And mutual funds. Index funds too, but index funds are stocks that you hold with the company that owns the index. So like Vanguard has an ETF, but it also has an index fund, which is similar, the same to the ETF, but you can only invest through Vanguard and you need to pay their premium, which is like $3,000 to $5,000 just to minimum invest into their index funds, right? So there's those are the ones I could give you. There's high income dividend, low income dividend, and mid income dividend, which low tends to be around, if they yield 2 to 3%. I usually do 2 to 3.5%. That's what I would say. Mid would be 4. I would say 4 to 5%. 4 to 6%. I would say is mid, and then 7% and above is high yielding dividend stocks. But sorry, I was getting a call. Besides that, it's not much else. Like on this channel, I plan to be talking about stocks and stocks. Hopefully I could get to talking about real estate whenever I venture out into that. And last thing I meant to say before in the video. So always remember to start with what you're willing to lose and what you're willing to put into the market, because once again, this is giving you a return in the long run. So if you could start with $10, $20 a week, $10 a week, $20 a month, $10 a month, $5 a day, I say that's the method you start with. I don't really do $5 a day. Like I said, I do the throw everything in there, and then I'll buy and look around and see what I want. But most of the time, I'm just buying back into my dividend companies that I've been holding for a long time, right? You got any other questions? This is my first video. Please tell me how it is in the comments. Have a good day, brothers and sisters. Be blessed.